You're absolutely right. That is what's happening, and it's contributing to the overall division of labor, the breakdown in division of labor. If you've followed my work in the past, you know that I talk about the competency crisis. That's causing this because people are having to, you know, if they want to move up, they have to go someplace else. So they never stay any place to get really good at it. Sort of think of it like this. Imagine, like, you know, people pick up, and I'm not talking specifically to your comment. I'm just saying in kind of in the general sense here, that let's say that you decide you want to learn the violin, right? And then you get bored with it after like 6 weeks, and then you go try and do some other instrument, and then you get bored with that. Like, that's exactly what happens. You never get the amount of time in that you probably should have in order to get really truly good at something. Okay, and that contributes to it because employers and to the, you know, I would say overall to the overall job market itself, right? These guys are screwing themselves because no one will ever really get good at this job, at whatever job it is. It doesn't make any difference, and especially essential jobs, especially jobs that like really need to be done, and people just start to suck at it because they never really get good. So you end up with this sort of jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? If you're an owner and or you're an executive or something like that, it's kind of good to have a pretty diverse experience because you have a lot to draw from then. You can draw from other industries, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But when it comes to people that you're wanting to get really good at something, right, then those folks have to kind of stay there for a while. And the longer they stay there, the better they get at it. And that's the part that's missing. So yeah, this challenge of people saying, well, you know, like, I'm just going to be here. And this is where it used to be, like with millennials, younger millennials back in the day. So let me define back in the day, like, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. They would go into the job market, and there was this big complaint about the millennials going to the job market, like, oh my God, they don't know what, you know, they're only here for like a year or two or 6 months, and then they quit and they don't want to do it anymore. And there was this big complaint, and nobody could understand it. And it's like, dude, I understood it completely as an employer. I totally understood it. And what I understood was when they would say things like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm making a difference here. That is a passive aggressive way, because it's what we've taught like 2.5 generations of people to be passive aggressive, right? That's all of this hyper feminist horse shit in the schools have done. So that's a passive aggressive way for them to say, I'm not making enough money. You know, I'm working here, and I'm not making enough money to even pay my fucking bills. So what they do is they say things like, they use little, you know, clever innuendo of like, I just don't feel like I'm making a difference. Back, remember the old millennial question mark at the end of every sentence? Anyway, that's where that came from. And so, yeah, you want people to stick around. You want retention, but there's only one thing that's going to get retention, and that's going to be the ability for people to actually have some kind of life, particularly in the country that you told them was theirs. Okay, so I mean, at this point, I'm talking to employers now, because I have yet to have employers really jump down my throat. They can't really touch me, largely because I come from that side, and I'm openly criticizing most employers as an employer myself, because I know what you guys are doing, and most of your business models don't work anymore. The majority of you don't work anymore. I mean, franchise business models they're dying. All these business models are failing everywhere, and it's because you were told that, oh, just open this business, or just be involved in this, and then you're going to sit back and let the money roll in, and that's not reality. That's just not. And so you're seeing a lot of these things fading, right? And you can't pay people enough to keep their interest. And of course, why can't you do that? You can't do it because the bankers come first, the tax man comes first. These people all come first, right? The insurance, all these costs that keep going up, they come first. At the very bottom of that stack is the employees, right? Next to you, next to your money is your employees, and you can't pay them anymore because, because the bankers won't. There's no elasticity in paying the bankers, and there's no elasticity from the government, right? Now there is with these things, but I can't tell you how to deal with that on the internet. You kind of have to deal with these people. You just infer it. So once you deal with that, then you have plenty of money to pay your employees. Plenty of money. Then it's like, man, it's like freed up all kinds of stuff. Then you don't need to pay a bunch of accountants either, right? If you get rid of the government, you get rid of the police, you get rid of the military. I mean, just get rid of all these agencies and all these parasites. Then there you go. That frees up a lot of money to pay people to do jobs, right? And that's the part that's the part's missing. So, to Bob's point, like, yeah, it's a real problem, and that is the issue, is that moving up means moving out, and which means that no one's going to really truly get good at any of this stuff, and it's just going to get fucking worse. So hopefully we figure it out. I don't think we're going to, but you know, I mean, I hate to be a pessimist on this, but I'm more realist on this. I'm like, this is gonna take a Herculean effort on the part of the people to get past all of their differences and realize that they have one thing in common, and that is that they are all being horse-fucked by their bankers, their government, Wall Street. Like, they're going to have to really get that through their head, and then start demanding to be paid in hard currency. That will solve all of this.